sunny day. So naturally, I'm indoors, I'm going to be writing. If you're new here, I'm Katie, I'm a writer. I'm also a freelancer, so I don't always know when I'm going to be free, when I can fit writing in. So I'm actually fitting some writing in today because I'm not at home, I'm at my mum's house. Thought it was the perfect opportunity to do some writing. No distractions besides two very cute animals. If you see my last few writing vlogs, you'll know that I've been in this limbo state where I've been drafting, but I've also been going back and making sure that I'm happy with my plan and replotting, re-outlining and all that stuff. I've done quite a bit of that since I last filmed, and I'm actually really happy with where my outline sits now. I've gotten some really great advice from some people in the comments, and I've been chatting to lots of writers on YouTube, which has been so lovely and so helpful. I'm feeling really good about my outline. The thing is now, the 3 chapters I've written don't quite fit. They fit enough that I know with some small edits I can get them to where they need to be for this first draft. I obviously don't want to spend too much time on editing. I did think about just not doing the edits and just making a note of these changes and moving forward, and then I can revisit it later. And honestly, for a lot of people, that's probably the most time effective way of moving forwards. I've tried to do something similar in the past when I've had a project that keeps stalling at the beginning, and when I get to the point where I actually want to keep about 80% of it, I don't want to just completely restart. I feel like it's better to do that editing, and again, it's like not advice that anybody gives out, and they shouldn't really, because it shouldn't be the norm. I think if I do the edits, it will get me back into the project because I have spent some time away from actually drafting. I'll get a better sense of the voice, and by making the changes, I think I'm getting into the character's head a bit more. When I kept going back over my plot and adding things, it was mostly to do with the characterization and the character motivations. So trying to make sure that every plot point really made sense for these characters in this story, and the decisions that were being made were informed by the characters' backstories and who they are and their personality and their circumstances. I really worked hard on that, so I feel good about the decisions I've made. One thing I'm proud of is this kind of domino effect of one decision leads to another situation that creates a more intense scenario, that then there are more choices to be made, and then that leads on to the next. And I'm really proud of that chain of events and how my main character is tested and she has to make choices and where they lead her. All this to say, I'm obviously just trying to convince myself that this is the right way forward. I'm going to go back and edit my first 2 chapters. I'm going to do them in a reasonable time frame. So today I have some time before we head back home. I'm going to read chapter 1, make some notes of edits. I've already got some in my mind. I have my plan for what chapter 1 should look like, which doesn't deviate massively. I don't need to like write new scenes, replace huge amounts of text. I know I'm going to cut some things. The direction of the conversation in that scene that I've written needs to change, and it has this domino effect like I talked about. So that's what we're doing today. It is really hot. I'm hoping I can concentrate. I already feel like the heat is getting to me. I know in other countries 30 degrees Celsius probably doesn't sound very hot. It's hot to us, and if you're British, you'll know we just don't cope in the heat, and our country is not built for it. I have the most pathetic fan, let me show you. This is what I'm dealing with. This is all I have to help me with the heat. Yeah, we don't have air conditioning in the UK. I feel like we forget how hot it can actually get here every year, and then it comes back around and we're all miserable. So if I seem when I'm concentrating that I have a really miserable resting bitch face, that is probably part of it, but I have been told when I'm concentrating I look really annoyed. I don't mean to be, so if you ever see me in a clip just looking really pissed off, I'm not. I'm absolutely fine. I'm concentrating. I'm probably having a good time. I have an hour of time on my own from now, so I'm just gonna get on with it. So I think that's me done for this writing session. I read chapter 1, I did a light edit. As I said, I'm not going to spend too long editing. I really do want to push forward with this draft, but I feel like the edit was worth doing. It's brought it back in line with my updated outline, which is really great. For these early chapters, my new outline doesn't differ hugely from what I had already planned, but I feel like it's much more character driven and character focused now that I know my main character more. The way I'm setting it up will reverberate throughout the story, so the beginning feels important, but I don't want to spend too much time editing it. The main thing I changed is when we meet our main character, she is having a conversation with a professor at the educational institute that she goes to. It's quite an intense conversation. She's kind of in trouble. I knew that that was going to be the case, but I didn't understand the full extent of it, and I think I needed to understand my world and my character and the situation she's in a little bit more, and now I feel like I've got that. I know exactly why she's in trouble. I know exactly what's going on, so I got to redo that conversation, and I'm just much happier with where it's at. It wasn't that far off, but there was missing context, missing information, and now I feel like it makes sense. The thing I'm going to do when I next sit down to write is work on chapter 2. We're actually going to be leaving here soon and heading home, so I might have time later, I don't know. If not, it'll be like tomorrow or something. I'm completely forgetting what day it is. I think today's Saturday. If you've seen any of my other videos, you will know that I am not great at knowing what the day is. Today, I've just found out, is Saturday. I probably will write again tomorrow, and I'm hoping that I can get through chapter 2 and chapter 3 because I feel solid about the plans for them. They are fully written. I don't think they have that many big changes to make. Hopefully I can do it tomorrow, and I will film because I feel like this going back and editing is a very specific task that I want to get done and just move on. I want to take you guys along because I think it's an interesting choice for me to be making this early on in the drafting process, to be editing when I haven't even hit 10,000 words, but I do think it'll be worthwhile. Okay, that's me officially done. Let's go, let's get out of here. So I'm home now, and I think I have just enough energy to carry on working for a little bit. My reward is going to be ordering food, so I've got a little bit of time before I'm going to do that, so I'm going to work a little bit. I do think as well that because I spent some time away from drafting and doing all the outlining business that I was doing, I'm just eager to get back to it. And after rereading chapter 1 and editing it, I feel like it was quite strong to begin with, which has given me more motivation to carry on because I was feeling a little bit down about the project. I think when you go back to the planning stages and you play with things and you change things, you start doubting how good it is. But really, I've just been trying to make it stronger. So I saw that the changes I made were strengthening it, and I feel like there's still some lovely qualities there. So I'm feeling really good about it. I'm going to get chapter 2 up. I'm going to get my notes up. I'm just going to reread it, and hopefully the changes aren't too extreme. But again, if I don't get it all done, that's okay too.
I think I'm gonna stop there. I'm tired. It's actually really hit me. I've just been in the car for like 3 hours or so, and that was fine. I didn't feel that tired, and I wasn't the one driving, so I really don't have an excuse to be tired. I only did a little bit of chapter 2, and I am a little bit stuck. This chapter is a little bit tricky because I need to set up certain things so that they will pay off later, but it might be that I need to write the payoff to really understand how I'm setting them up. These are probably problems that I'm going to solve in revisions. I'm gonna leave some notes to myself for editing later because I don't want to forget, but also me acknowledging that there are problems, and I think by writing them down, that's almost creating a to-do list for later, for my future self who will be editing the book, that will have like a better understanding of the story and they'll be more equipped to deal with it and like come up with the solutions. So me just identifying a problem is helpful in a way. That's what I'm telling myself. Chapter 2 is not done, but as I said before, not the goal here. Yeah, I think I deserve my takeaway. I think I deserve ordering food. I don't do it very often. I actually really rarely do it. So I'm gonna go and get my partner and we're gonna decide what we want to order. I'm excited to like get into my pajamas and just do nothing for the rest of the day. I mean, it's like 6 p.m. so it's just the evening really. Good progress though. It's been fun to be back in that world, and I'm starting to find my fire for it again, which is really exciting because I think I lost it a little bit. I think I just had a tiny wobble, and re-outlining helped me feel the concept was strong. And actually the moment I felt the most confident with it was when I was talking to my partner about some of the changes I'd made, and I explained the big sequence that happens in the middle of the book, which can be tricky. I've really struggled with writing a strong middle act. That's made me excited, and it's made me excited to push through to write that section. Yeah, I've just got to keep going. It's just slow. It's always going to be slow. It's like, it's such a mammoth task that you do have to just break it down. I had a few stumbles with this project already, but in reality it should only make me feel better about it because I'm addressing problems and I'm solving them and carrying on and moving forward. The only way this book won't get written is if I quit. So I'm not failing because I'm still here and I'm still writing it. So that's my little pep talk for myself, little pep talk for you if it applies to you. I need to clock off for today. I will come back again tomorrow. I'm making that commitment now. Sometimes I say, oh, I don't know if I'm going to film tomorrow. I'm going to film tomorrow. I'm making this commitment. If the next clip that you see is not me filming tomorrow, then you're welcome to hold me accountable, but it's going to happen. I'm putting my foot down. I'm going to show up tomorrow. Unless some crisis happens, why would I speak that into existence? Unless something happens, I will be back tomorrow and I will carry on editing chapter 2. I did not film yesterday. I came home, it was really hot, I was really tired, I'd had a long day, and then I just wanted to chill. It was a Sunday, so I just completely forgot about filming, I'll be honest. Today is Monday. I've just finished work. It's about 5:30, I believe. I had a graphic design project, which is all sent off now, which is great. So I just wanted to catch up about writing because I completely forgot to do it yesterday. I have a fun pink drink for this conversation. It's a pink lemonade. So it's been going well. I have read and edited chapters 1 and 2. I still have another chapter to do, but I feel confident I can get it done because it didn't actually take me as long as I thought to do the first 2 chapters. I said this before, but it is really minor changes. It's more to remind myself what I've written, where I'm going, but while I was rereading, I just made some changes that are mostly to do with plot points, specific things that happen in conversations or in scenes. I'm definitely not rewriting anything. There's been no major edits. So disclaimer, I'm not fully editing, I just gave it a little bit of a spruce up. I had some things I wanted to talk about that I was thinking a lot about yesterday. In one of my recent videos, I talked a lot about how word count trackers don't always work for me. They definitely have worked for me in the past, but for some reason, they're not helping me with this project. Like, they're not motivating me. It's really strange. I don't know if I understand it. Last year, I took 6 months off from writing, and I have a whole video about why and how it benefited me and all these other things, because it was honestly a very weird time in my life, and it just needed a whole video to just talk about, because I really needed to talk about it. But I came back from that a very different writer than who I was before the break, and I think I'm just motivated by different things nowadays. I think taking such an amount of time away from writing really changed my relationship to what motivates me. I saw something recently about how, this is going to sound really like productivity core, but how certain people will respond better to something like a constraint on their time rather than a goal. So the way I interpret that is making goals that reflect what you can control, so your actions. For instance, my goal is to show up for a writing session at least every 3 days. My schedule is all over the place. Sometimes I work really late at night, sometimes I work at weekends, all these things, and I actually find it really hard to predict. So I know that I can reasonably expect myself to find time for writing once every 3 days, if not more than that, but it's really hard for me to set some sort of consistent goal like writing every day or a daily word count. Other thing that I really want to do, that I used to do, is keep a writing diary. Now, I definitely used to be a digital notes only kind of person. If you've seen one of my previous writing vlogs, it absolutely came back to haunt me, because when I tried to restart this project, I had notes in so many different places. Probably every app imaginable that you can type something, I had written some sort of note about my project. I'd sent myself messages, emails, my notes app was a mess. It was just a nightmare. But recently I've been writing everything down. So I have 2 books here. I have a typical notebook that's just plain, and I just write all my thoughts down, and I just write down ideas, I write down thoughts that I'm having, I write down to-do lists and things like that. I also have a writing diary planner, which is from Miss Lexia. This is their 2025 edition. They do one every year. If you don't know, Miss Lexia are a women's writing magazine here in the UK. I also have a subscription, but I haven't gotten any new copies since I've moved house, so I don't have any to hand, but I'm sure they're somewhere. I think they're in storage. I'm finding this really helpful because it has a whole week spread. And then every month it has a double page spread where you can have a bit of a reset and you can reflect on what's been going well, what you could do better, and just your plan for the coming month. So I think writing things down means that I keep everything in one place, and there's something about physically writing out my thoughts that makes me connect with them better. I don't understand how it works, but it's always worked better for me than actually typing things out. Like when I was revising for exams back in school or anything like that, handwriting it always helped me retain the information better. And I think it's that thing of not trying to multitask or get distracted. So if I'm jotting something in my phone, it's helpful when I'm out and about and I don't have my notebooks with me, but I'm gonna get distracted by something else. I don't let that idea kind of sit and develop, or it could be a problem that I've identified that I'm trying to find a solution to. Anytime that I've really come up with a solution on the spot, I think it's been when I've been writing it down. So I'm really hoping these are going to make a difference, but I'm already really enjoying them, so I'll have to let you know how it goes. So progress on my fantasy novel so far hasn't been great in terms of moving forwards, and I'm absolutely desperate to move forward now. Like, I just want to write, I want to get lots of words written down, but as I said, I'm not going to set myself word count goals. I'm going to set myself constraints or things that are actionable that I have control over. So I have control over how many hours a week I commit to writing and showing up and showing discipline. So I'm going to really try and do that. And I think the next writing vlog I'll do, I might set myself some sort of challenge and then see if I can meet it. And I'll also be curious to see how many words I write, because I do have a tendency to make the work I'm doing fit the time I have. I don't know if that makes sense, but if I say, okay, I have a whole day to write 1,000 words, I could probably write that 1,000 words in that day. But if I say I have 5,000 words to write in a day, I do think that you can spend all the time in the world meeting a goal, and you will make that work fit the entire time you have. I hope that this approach is taking the pressure off the outcome, so that I don't feel like I'm scrambling to get thousands of words down in a day. I'm really focusing on the quality and just
moving forwards, because I'm definitely not trying to go over the same scenes over and over again. I have a plan for my story and I really want to get through these chapters. The way I've actually done my outline is I turned it into a bit of a to-do list where I've got all my scenes and I'm going to tick them off. I don't 100% know how many scenes I'm going to have per chapter. I think I need to have the scenes written to know how long they're going to be and whether chapter breaks are in the right places, but roughly at the moment I'm saying that I'm going to have about 2 scenes per chapter. I think if I show up every day and I give a scene the best go that I can, I don't see why I couldn't get it done. But again, I'm not going to put that pressure on myself. And if a scene is particularly tricky, I feel like I need to have a rule where I either decide, okay, don't touch it again today, look at it again tomorrow or the next time you sit down to write, or just do a bad version of it and then come back to it later. I think this is part of the reason that I went back and I had to replot so many things, is that some scenes just fundamentally weren't going to work and they needed to be replanned and replotted. So if I come up against a scene that's happening again, I'm just gonna have to go back to the drawing board, but it's okay. I think I've accepted that that's going to be part of my writing process for this book, no matter what I do. And I'm finding something really freeing about building in a little bit of failure into this process, and just giving myself a bit of grace and a bit of space to make mistakes, or not necessarily mistakes, because I don't think a plot problem is necessarily a mistake. I just think I'm allowing myself to have room for setbacks so that it doesn't derail my entire plan. If I have to take a week away from drafting like I just have and go back to the drawing board a little bit, then that's okay. I didn't expect this vlog to just be about going back to those early chapters, editing them and not really pushing the story forwards, but I do think it's been necessary and I'm really glad that I've done it. I still feel that I've made progress even though I haven't added lots of words to the manuscript. The next time you see me in a writing vlog, I think I'm going to try a bit of a challenge where I have to try and show up several times in a week to do my writing. I might set a bit of a time challenge so that I'm showing up for a certain amount of hours a week. We'll see how that goes. I'm really excited about that. I feel like I need a bit of a push to get things moving. I'm a little bit sick of being stuck at this very beginning stage. So we'll see how that goes. I'm also working on another video at the moment that I'm really excited about. It's all about returning to writing after a big break. If you saw my video about why I took a big break last year, you'll know that I really didn't want to take the break and that I did really want to come back to writing. So when I did come back to writing, I wrote so much. I know it doesn't seem like it because this project has stalled so many times and I'm still in these early stages, but I did write 15,000 words for this project and then I scrapped it. I wrote another 15,000 words and somewhere in that mess, I wrote 10,000 words of another project, which I'm probably going to return to. I also wrote a lot of poetry, I wrote essays, I did morning pages for a really long time and I still do them now, but maybe just not every day. My writing output from before the break and after completely skyrocketed, and I think there are some really key reasons why that happened and why I enjoyed it so much. So I'm gonna make a video about that and that should hopefully be coming soon. But I would also love to hear about your writing process. If you've taken a break and then you've come back to writing and there's been something that you found that was really helpful, I would love to hear about it. Just as a little side note, I started this YouTube channel about a month ago. I think when this video comes out, it will be my 1 month YouTube anniversary. I have never been somebody who has felt very confident online. I haven't really pursued a social media platform for myself before. In previous jobs, I've run social media pages, I've worked in marketing, I've done all sorts of things, but I never really worked closely with something like YouTube. So it is a really new thing for me. And it's just so nice that after all this time of like lurking in the WriterTube space, that I've had such a nice reception from you guys. So if you've watched the video all the way through and you're still here, just know that I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you and I hope that you're enjoying my videos. I won't spend too long on this, but if you are a writer and you have been curious about starting a YouTube channel or you've always thought that you would like to do it, I honestly think that you should. I know that sounds really cliche and it really glosses over a lot of problems that you might have in starting, but I'm currently filming this on my iPhone. I have a really old iPhone. It's not a new one by any means. It's taken a little bit of getting used to. I mean, video editing isn't the easiest thing to pick up, but you absolutely can. I am 100% not an expert in this area. I am still so new to this. But if you have a question, you can pop it in the comments and I would love to try and help you out. But yeah, that's all from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. I post a new writing vlog every week on this channel. So if you want to keep up with how my writing journey is going, you can subscribe. And if you have enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. It really does help me out. Until next time, bye!